morning.
Morning.
Good weekend?
Average. Did a couple of varicose veins on Saturday morning and then whizzed down to Chichester to look at a boat.
You've already got a boat.
Well, I fancy something bigger. Well, the one I've got's all right for piddling around the Solent, but I need something more substantial. Besides, it's either that or give the money to the tax man.
It must be terrible for you, Paul.
What?
Worrying about how to spend all that spare cash. Fortunately, it's a problem I don't have. Not with my brood.
I'd change places with you tomorrow, do you know that?
I don't think you would.
Oh, you'd be surprised. All right, I've got a fancy car. I've got a place in France. I ski in the winter, sail in the summer. But look what you've got.
Yeah, a massive overdraft, a huge mortgage, and a clapped-out Volvo.
You've got 5 lovely daughters, and you're still with the same woman you married 20 years ago. You've got family, Duncan. You can't buy that.
Yes, you can, with a massive overdraft and a huge mortgage.
Look at me. 3 failed marriages, a succession of females drifting in and out of my life. I mean, what is it with me, Duncan? What's wrong with me? Why can't I sustain a permanent relationship like you?
Well, I'd say it's probably got something to do with that alarm clock you've got in your trousers.
Hello. Which mob is it this week?
The cleaners.
Hang on a sec.
You know, Paul Collier, you're a funny old bugger.
How do you mean?
Well, for a money-grabbing right-wing capitalist, you've got a strangely generous streak in you.
One does what one can.
Right, I'll see you in the canteen then. As soon as I've cleaned Mr. Collier's car.
You did tell her I wanted to see her immediately.
Oh, yes, Professor. I said to come straight to your office.
Well, where the hell is she? I can do without all this. You know, I've got enough on my mind. I've got a budget meeting with the hospital manager at 9:30.
Oh, shall I call him and say you might be a few minutes late?
No. The last thing I want is to be at a psychological disadvantage when discussing ward closures. Oh, while I think of it, check my diary. Arrange lunch with Lionel Snell for one day next week, will you? Book that Japanese restaurant he's so fond of. Breaking the news over a little sushi might help soften the blow.
Right.
Where is that wretched girl?
Oh, shall I chase her up?
Would you mind, Margaret? I just pray the Dean didn't see her on that picket line. I can imagine what her reaction would be.
Professor Stuart-Clark's office. Oh, yes, Dean. Yes, will you hold on? It's the Dean. She sounds rather cross.
Find her and bring her here right now. Morning, Heather. How are you? Yes, of course. Heather, if you just let me... Dean, of course she knows she shouldn't get involved in hospital politics. Yes, I have sent for her. In fact, she's here now. Now, just you leave this with me. Certainly. Yes. I'll make it clear it must never happen again. Right. Yes. Thank you, Heather. Come in.
Dick, I'm sorry to disturb you, but could I have a quick word?
Not just now, Lionel. I don't have the time.
I'm very upset, Dick. I keep hearing these rumors. I've got to talk to you.
Lionel, please don't involve me in your private life. Surely the person you should be talking to is your wife.
What?
What? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
This ridiculous rumor about Brenda and the head of catering.
Oh, that is just a ridiculous rumor.
Well, that's what I said.
They're both in the hospital badminton team. Of course they spend time together. They're favourites for the mixed doubles.
I know. It's marvellous.
Yeah. Do you know how long it is since St. Swithin's won anything in the Inter-Hospital League? 15 years. Brenda and the head of catering put in hours of practice. I'm surprised at you, Dick, listening to malicious gossip.
And that's all it is, malicious gossip. But I thought that's why you were upset.
No. What has upset me is what I've heard about ward closures.
What have you heard?
And that my ward's being closed down.
Well, that's just a rumour.
I know. But is it true? Am I under threat?
Lionel, we're all under threat. St. Swithin's is under threat. The whole of the NHS is under threat. I don't know how these stories start.
No. Well, that's the trouble with rumours. One's always worried in case there's any truth in them.
Quite.
Give my regards to Emma.
And mine to Brenda.
Oh, when I see her, they're playing away tonight.
I'll tell you when it comes home to you that we're getting old. When you're going out with a girl and you're older than her father. My God, that's a shaker. Well, it was the first time. I'm getting used to it now.
Well, I don't know, Paul. Maybe it's because I'm nearer 50 than 40. I can't help wondering whether I've done it all wrong.
What?
The way I've handled my career.
Oh, don't talk rubbish. Of all of us, you're unquestionably the best surgeon.
And the poorest. I can't afford any of those exotic holidays like you and Dick.
Neither could I. I've had as many kids as you. I've never understood your interest in infertility. It's clearly not a problem as far as you're concerned.
Fortnight in Bournemouth is all we get. And that's only if my dear father-in-law deigns to lend us the bungalow.
Well, don't forget, Dick couldn't afford it if he wasn't married to Emma. I mean, he couldn't live the way he does if it wasn't for her money. And let's be honest, we all know how he became Professor of Surgery instead of you.
Paul, sometimes you've got a big mouth.
Listen, I love Dick. He's one of my oldest friends. Good God, he's been my best man twice. But let's call a scalpel a scalpel. If Emma's father hadn't made that anonymous donation to the New Wing Appeal, well, I know who'd be Professor of Surgery now.
Exactly. It was anonymous. How do you know it was Emma's father?
Because they gave the job to Dick instead of you. If it hadn't been anonymous, it could have been called bribery. No, it's nepotism, Duncan. Don't kid yourself.
Well, I don't see how you could be so disloyal to one of your best friends.
I'm just being honest. I happen to think you should have got that job. Anyway, I don't care. You're the one going through the male menopause and moaning about your career.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. It is the male menopause. It's just, well, I wish I'd been more like you.
How do you mean?
Less dedicated.
Charming.
You know what I mean. I should have gone for the money a bit more. I mean, Geraldine and the girls certainly think so. They call me a foolish idealist. Or was it an idealistic fool? I can never remember.
Listen, I'm not totally mercenary, you know. My list this morning is made up of NHS patients.
Well, it's part of your contract.
Exactly. I do my bit. It's not all champagne and caviar.
Mr. Collier?
Yes.
Your secretary in Harley Street rang. The Paraguayan ambassador is anxious to see you before he flies off to the States at noon.
Sister, tell my senior registrar I'd like him to take care of my list this morning.
Yes, Mr. Collier.
It'll be good experience for him.